Hey guys, it's Charlie, and today is day 6 of my 30 videos in 30 days of informational videos on working, teaching, and living abroad. Today's video is a subscriber question about non-native English speakers teaching abroad. This subscriber specifically asked if I knew anyone that was a non-native English speaker who worked abroad. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm also going to talk about things that you can do to help yourself look better as a non-native English speaker to get a good English teaching job abroad. So first of all, I'm going to mention that non-native English speakers are considered to be people who are not from one of these locations. So I'm going to name the locations. In order to be a native English speaker, or considered a native English speaker, you must be from Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK, or the US. So if you're not from any of those locations, you would be considered a non-native English speaker, even if you spoke English as a child. So first I would like to mention that yes, I did know someone who was from the Philippines, and she worked at the same school that I worked at as a talk scholar. She wasn't a talk scholar, she worked with another program, and she got a job at my same school when I was teaching through the talk program. She was from the Philippines, and I'm going to specify why I believe she was able to land a good English teaching job as a non-native English speaker. I'll tell you the situation. She was married to a Korean man. She spoke fluent Korean, and so those are two of the things that I think helped her to land a really good teaching job. So first of all, she's married and she has a kid in Korea, and her husband is Korean, and so that means that she's going to be living there long term, and that means that a company is probably going to realize that she wants a job long term, not just something that's going to be very short term. Also, she spoke fluent Korean. She showed interest in the culture, the country, and she was able to communicate with the school easily without a problem, as if she were a native Korean. And so showing interest in the culture and the language and being able to communicate is a big deal on getting a good job abroad. So one thing that I have to say, I have my notes here so that I can keep going. It's going to be harder for you to find good work abroad. So make sure that this is something you really want to do, because it's going to take a lot of time, and it's probably going to take a lot of money. It's probably going to cost you a lot of money. So there is a preference for native speakers, and so you have to keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged, but there is a preference for native English speakers. You will have to be determined, and you will have to work a lot harder than someone who is a native English speaker. And it's unfortunate because many times non-native English speakers are better at teaching than native speakers, because they've had that experience of learning another language and finding the tools and the resources to learn another language. So many times you can be better at teaching than a native speaker. So you will have to put in time, you will have to be determined, and you can't give up on the first try, because you're going to get more letdowns than a non-native speaker. Okay, so now I have a few tips on how to improve your resume and to look better and to be a better fit for your future job. Number one is to improve your accent. People are looking for native English speakers, so if you have a foreign accent speaking English, you're going to have a lot more trouble finding a job. So make sure that you improve your accent. This leads to number 2, which is move to a native English speaking country. That way you get practice with your accent, and you also get practice with the language that you're trying to teach. So spend time in an English speaking country. Volunteer, work, find some type of way to get ahead in the industry. Okay, so number 3 is to get a TEFL certificate. You're going to have more things on your resume that stand out. And some of the basic things that native English speakers have is a TEFL certificate. So if you're a non-native English speaker and you're trying to get a job and you don't have this, which is one of the basic things, it's going to look worse for you. So be sure to get a TEFL certificate. That way you are on a similar level to those who are native speakers. Number 4, which is something that is a little bit more of a stretch, is getting a degree in English or in teaching, in that type of field in education, and possibly even getting that degree in the native speaking country. So this has to be something that you're sure that you really want to do, because this is something that you're investing your time in and your money, and it's a degree that you're going to be stuck with. Not that it's going to be a bad thing, but you have to make sure that it's something that you want to do. So get a degree if this is something you want to do long term in education, teaching, or English, some type of field like that. Let's see. Okay, number 5 is get good references. So I mentioned that you might want to try moving to an English-speaking country. One of the things that you can do is volunteer. You can get teaching jobs, maybe some type of volunteer work with your city or community in an English-speaking location. When doing that, make sure you get good references. Try to put out there a good vibe, send good energy, be a good worker, be happy, positive, and that way you get really good references, because you want your references to stand out next to someone who is a native English speaker. So be sure to get really good references. Number 6 is to keep your criminal, this is going to sound funny, but keep your criminal record check clean, keep your background clean, because you don't want your background check to come back in a bad light compared to a native speaker who has a clean background check. So make sure that you keep your criminal record check, your background clean of any negative things. That could be many different things. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of benefits to being a non-native speaker. I find it beneficial for non-native speaker teachers. One of them is that many native speakers understand the process that it takes to learning a language. Sometimes they know the tricks, they know ways to memorize things or remember things, and fun ways to learn the language because they went through it themselves. So this is one of the benefits, and you have to keep that in mind. Maybe if you're asked that on an interview or anything, why they would choose you over a native speaker, this is something that you can mention. Also, many non-native speakers understand grammar a lot better than native English speakers, and this is because they've had to learn the language themselves, and we as native speakers don't really put too much effort into learning English. We're just born into it, and so we don't really have to try too much to really understand the grammar as much as non-native speakers do. So you guys have that benefit of understanding the grammar better than native speakers. Also, one of the fundamental things that I want to stress is that non-native speakers can also contribute their native language to a company or to a school that is looking to hire. So you can also try and sell that aspect. Maybe you speak Spanish, maybe you speak Portuguese, maybe you speak Korean. You can offer that as a side. The school can also learn this language, or the students will benefit from having multicultural, people in the school. So this is my video on non-native speakers looking to go abroad. I'm going to make another video on this because this is kind of a new field for me. I've looked into it a little bit, but I haven't talked to many non-native speakers. So be looking forward to some of my upcoming videos that might state more information and give more details into how to make yourself look better as a non-native speaker. So thank you guys for watching. Remember that you can send any of my questions that you have to my website, blackpearlworld.com, in the guest book. You can leave all of your questions there. Thank you for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you later. Bye.